after a morning walk, it does the same thing as you sit on a meditation. It gives me the same thing. It is as good as meditation for me. But I think uh, the goal of meditation is not to get all these calmness, happiness, or something, but it has a deeper goal, I think. Through meditation, our ultimate goal is moksha, nirvana, and enlightenment. And I am not sure through meditation how to reach that goal. What would be the steps? I don't think it's a one step thing. You sit for meditation for some time and then you come out rejuvenated and feeling good and calming your nerves and feeling happy and good about it. I think there's much more to meditation, the path to meditation, and how deep you have to go. So I have to understand one. That is one thing, right?
Good point.
So, what do you have to say about it?
So, there are two philosophies in this. One is what is based on Yoga Shastra, Sankhya Yoga.
Yeah.
And the other, which is based on Advait Vedanta, which is what Shankaracharya has taught us. We are following Advait Vedanta. But remember, Gita has both in them, Advait Vedanta and Yoga Shastra. And there are many, many schools in India, especially the ones which have come up later on, which combine Advait Vedanta and Yoga Shastra. One of them I'm kind of engaged with these days, a little bit. So let me give you both the answers. So the Yoga Shastra school says that the aim of meditation is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That means you basically start, and it's a process. It's an 8-step process, the Ashtanga process, jo tera ko pata hai. So you start by first being aware of all your thoughts. Then you slowly get your mind to focus on a group of thoughts, an area of thoughts. So for example, if you say, I want to focus on a particular Jyoti. So there are thoughts which goes around the Jyoti, but they are all related to the Jyoti. Or I want to focus on Vishnu. Then thoughts about Vishnu, but all related to Vishnu. Not one thought, but many thoughts. You keep slowly narrowing the focus of those thoughts till you have only one thought. And then you come to a stage where even that one thought goes away. That's nirvikalpa samadhi, some people say, or whatever they say. And they say that when your thoughts are gone, there are no thoughts remaining, then what remains is yourself. Okay? And that's how you get yourself. And there are involved methodologies on this. You take any book on Yoga Shastra, it will give you. And it's a process. They have prescribed for you what is the best way to get there, what are the kind of lifestyle choices you have to follow, all of that. This is one approach. And in fact, even like I said, there are schools of Advait Vedanta and Yoga Shastra who prescribe this approach. They simplify it and they tell you that this is ultimately, it's in the white heat of samadhi that you will merge with yourself. Okay? Because otherwise thoughts are a distraction. So this is one way to look at it. And, if you are interested in that, I wouldn't be able to help you too much because that's not what I know. The other is the Advait Vedantic approach, which is much more, you could say, Gyan Yoga. And what that says is that the knowledge of the self is what's called a vritti jnanam. It's a knowledge like anything else, like in a way, like physics. You want to learn physics. Someone has to teach you physics. Someone has to tell you about physics. In the case of Advait Vedanta, you want to know about the self. Someone has to tell you what that self is, because tumko apne aap nahi pata chalega self kya hai, because you are already engaged and absorbed in it. You're already in it. You just don't know it. So someone from the outside has to tell you this. So what Shankaracharya says is you can sit in meditation as long as you want, But if somebody doesn't tell you, how will you know? Now so Shankaracharya says there is no need for meditation to get moksha. Meditation is required to make your mind more prepared so that it can get and think about the study which has been given to it, the knowledge which has been given to it. Now, there are schools which combine both. They say, we will tell you that there is moksha and that you are this ultimate Brahman, but you experience it through meditation. So you have both. So that's what they do too. But Shankaracharya is categorical. He says there is no need for that. That is a distraction. What you have to understand is that whether there is a vritti or not, 1 vritti, 2 vrittis, 100 vrittis, in each vritti there is Brahman. Each vritti is made of Brahman. So that is the difference. And actually that takes me to, I actually read, but before I go there, any question on that? Do you follow that? Or do you have any follow-up questions? Sanjay?
I'll have to think over it, mull over it, and then I can.
Yeah, you should, because I think this is because I know that for you, meditation is very important. And like I was telling last time, the most important thing is to understand why you're doing the meditation. So meditation is very important. That I also agree. But the Advaita Vedanta philosophy says you're not going to reach moksha through meditation. The meditation is going to help you make your mind better and make you cleaner. It will give you relative peace.
But don't you think all these people, Adi Shankaracharya, Vivekananda, Ramakrishna, they used to go into very deep meditation?
Yeah.
They would be just cut off from the external environment. They would be very, very into deep meditation.
Yes. So I don't know about Adi Shankaracharya as such. I know that Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, yes, they used to. And their philosophy is also a little different from Shankaracharya's philosophy. They say that there are 4 paths to knowledge. You can go through Gyan Marg, you can go through meditation, Dhyan Yoga, you can go through Bhakti Yoga, you can go through the Karam Yoga. Shankaracharya says all these yogas are preparation. You can get moksha only through knowledge. So even within that, there are differences. So when I was saying that there are schools that combine Advaita Vedanta knowledge with meditation. To some extent, Vivekananda and Ramakrishna is kind of, not exactly, but kind of in that camp. Even Chinmayananda is not as clear about it as say Swami Dayananda Saraswati or Shankaracharya. Swami Dayananda Saraswati follows exactly Shankaracharya's approach. So there are these variations. The thing is, Sanjay, I mean, my feeling is, because I also thought a lot about it. My feeling is the distance you have to travel in a way from the way that you're talking about it is so large, right? Because to get moksha, whatever you do which can help you feel better right now, which gives you some benefit right now, you should do it without thinking too much about the.
No, that's not the thing. But unless we have that goal in mind, and we can assess after some time where we stand and where we have to reach.
Yes.
So at least that path should be clear.
Yes.
So that will make more sense, and we can go deeper. Even in all this Vedanta and everything, we started very superficially, and now we are really deep into it. Stepwise, we have progressed that way. So in the path of meditation, what exactly do we expect on that path? And we have to analyze where we are.
So, okay, let me give you another, because, when Kiki had asked last time, she had asked a question about that one shlok, where usme diya hua tha chitta shuddhi. And I went back and kind of studied it, and actually it was very good I did, because there was a very interesting, in that relation, in context of that, Swami Dayanand gave a very interesting sort of aspect of meditation. So, and there's a little circular way, but it might answer your question. So he said there are three ways that you can think about the results of meditation. 3 benefits, depending upon you. The first one approach is where you say meditation helps me reduce my thoughts. It calms me down because I have so many thoughts going everywhere. And during meditation, slowly I just get my thoughts lesser and lesser. And I get joy because I have fewer thoughts. I get more peace because I have fewer thoughts. So that was one way of looking at meditation, legitimate benefit. He said the second way of looking at meditation is I create a distance between me and my thoughts. So what happens there is, you can see your thoughts, you can feel, you can say, okay, my thoughts are not me. So things are happening to me, and that is not me. So that's a sort of you develop some degree of objectivity, some, vairagya or viveka through this exercise, because you're able to see that all the experiences that you're having are not necessarily impacting you, or they impact you less and less. You develop all these things, Sanjay, that you were talking about, like having more peace, being not being immediately responsive to things, not letting them affect you, controlling your anger. All these things come, and also it's a step in your understanding of yourself. And he said there's a third thing, which is in his view, the ultimate benefit of meditation. He said what the benefit there, what he says is that there is a glad acceptance, to use his words, of everything. And he said, good thoughts come, bad thoughts come. I look at meditation as they're welcome. I'm not going to resist any thought. I'm not going to say, I don't want that thought because I want fewer thoughts. Or, hey, I'm going to remove myself from my thoughts because I don't want to be affected by this thought and be happy with that thought or whatever. Nothing. He says, every thought is me. So do not resist a bad thought. Do not resist too many thoughts. So that's a way of looking at meditation as, even there are people I've heard in the West who are sort of, doing more direct path sort of meditation, Advaita Vedanta. They all say, be open to everything. It doesn't mean that you are affected by everything. It doesn't mean that, that you are, that you're going up and down all the time with whatever's happening to you. But it just means stop resisting. Stop resisting good things or bad things. Now, this is very, very difficult. I mean, I think the first and the second are relatively easy, in my opinion. The third one is very hard. But that's what he said are the 3 ways in which you can look at the benefits of meditation. And he said that the third way really brings purity of heart. Because you're not creating an instinctive reaction of, hey, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want that thought. Or, yeah, that's a good thought. I want that thought. Or I have too many thoughts. That's not good. I need fewer thoughts. I'm not making progress. Things like that. So all these are the reactions which are there. We think we are making progress or not making progress, but we are judging all the time. We are judging the thoughts. We are judging ourselves. Meditation gives you a chance to not do any of those things. So anyway, that was just, I don't know whether that's another way, but it again goes to show the difference between the approach of Swami Dayanand and that of a lot of other teachers or meditations that you find, which is his goal from meditation is not to reduce or increase thoughts or do anything to them. His goal is, how can I accept everything as me? Whereas the goal of meditation from, the Ashtanga Yoga and all is, how can I reduce thoughts, focus on thoughts, eliminate thoughts, so that I can reach and feel and, experience or merge with Brahman. There are two very widely different opposing perspectives on meditation. So, and I wouldn't say I I don't think one is better than the other, honestly. I think it's really just what works for you.
No, I would like to put it this way, that when we meditate and try meditation techniques, so the final, we will achieve these three goals, I think. Reduction of thoughts, a space between you and thoughts, and non-reaction to thoughts, whether good or bad thoughts are coming, you won't react to them. You will accept as they are. So I think all the three things we will achieve through meditation.
Yeah, but that may or may not be the same as moksha. It is
No,
actually, the third one
that
is
is
actually
not
moksha.
moksha, but all these things, how they will lead to moksha, what is the path that will lead to moksha?
Okay, so
When
that's
we
what
do
I'm going to tell you.
meditation, we will achieve all these three things.
No, so the path to moksha is not through meditation. Meditation is a support. So it's like saying, let's say that you have to you got to reach Mount Everest, the top of Mount Everest. Now you'll say, I need a suit which is complete insulation. I need oxygen tank. I need some other equipment. I need pickaxes, right? Without those, you cannot possibly reach Mount Everest. But you can't say that those are the path to Mount Everest. The path to Mount Everest is, okay, should I go through the south face or should I go through the north face? And what is the path and how do I go? It's a very difficult path. We are not prepared right now. ऐसे हम बैठे हुए हैं मजे से अपने कपड़े पहन के. No training. Muscles are underdeveloped. We are not prepared to take that path and go to Mount Everest. We may know the path very clearly. We can go do a full GMap, Google Maps pe jaake, we can do a very detailed survey of the path. But we are not prepared to take that path. Uske liye we will have to do all these things. We will have to do training. We will have to, get protective clothing. We'll have to get, oxygen tanks, all that. We may have to do some dry runs. Then you can say, okay, I'm prepared to take the path, and I take the path, right? It's exactly the same. So the meditation and Karam Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Karam Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all these yogas, all the good things that we do are like the equipment. They are like training. They are the kind of things. And just the training itself sometimes actually gives you a lot of pleasure, because you feel getting fit. That gives you a lot of pleasure. So meditation can give you a lot of pleasure. Karam Yoga can give you a lot of pleasure, because you'll see the purity of your heart is becoming more evident. You'll become more sensitive to things. This I know, because, and even when Mukta was talking about the last time about that Vipassana, it's the same thing. You can actually feel the difference in you when you're doing Vipassana. You can see how minutely you can experience sensations. You have to go through it to understand it. And that's a very pleasurable experience. After all the pain of sitting quietly, that is a very pleasurable experience. But it is not the path to self-knowledge. The path to self-knowledge is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. You listen to what somebody is, because it's a praman. Just like, you have to, if you need knowledge, you need a praman for it. You need a means of knowledge. So agar tumko kuch dekhna hai, you need eyes. Without eyes, you can't see. Okay, I need glasses which can support, provide support, because dikhta nahi hai. Without the glasses, I won't see clearly. But without the eyes, I can't see at all. So glasses, you can say, are like yoga. Eyes are my Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So you need a means of knowledge. To know ourselves, we don't have a means of knowledge. So the means of knowledge that we have to know ourselves is simply what's called Shabd Praman. It's someone has to tell us. It's a vritti gyan. It's something which creates knowledge in us. Someone has to tell us that. Once someone tells us that, we know. The problem is there are four of us. Someone can tell us that, five of us. We will know. You pick somebody up from the street and tell him you are Brahman. He has no idea, okay, kya bol rahe ho, right? Because he's like unprepared person. He's like that person like us who wants to go to Mount Everest, right? So all this that we are doing is preparing us, is getting our mind oriented, doing, seeing differently, so that these in between things that we keep hearing, you are Brahman, you are Brahman, you are Brahman, they become clicking a little bit more and more and more. We begin to understand this more and more and more. And the path to knowledge is listening to Shruti or listening to people who are telling you, someone trusted source is telling you something. The trusted source for me is Upanishad, right? Not even, I would say, not even Swami Dayanand is a trusted source for me. I don't know him that much, but yeah, Upanishad is. A trusted source tells you which, because who you have knowledge and faith in. You think about it, see whether that's making sense or not, and you see whether it's coming true in real experience. That is the path of knowledge. So, for example, if the source tells you you are a Sangha, meaning unaffected, and you think about it and that makes sense to you, and then you see in your life, you notice your experiences and see, are you really different? Are you really changed by all these experiences that have happened to you from the beginning of your life to now? What is your actual experience? Have you been tainted completely, or have you like, what is it? What is the experience? And then if you have the sharpness of mind, which comes through meditation and through thinking, you have the sensitivity, you will be able to see these differences in yourself. You'll be able to see, yeah, nothing has changed. I'm the same old innocent me that I always was. And that'll tell you, yes, the teaching has a point. You are a Sangha. So धीरे धीरे ऐसे ऐसे करके you get conviction. That is the path to knowledge. And conviction क्या होती है? Conviction about the teaching. And you know, like somebody, you can say, Sanjay, how will you experience yourself? You'll begin to realize that amongst all these experiences that you had, good, bad, everything, there is a you which has never changed, which we've never paid any attention to. You'll begin to see that there is a you. There is something which has never changed. You cannot, if you try to pin it down and say, okay, this is that feeling which has never changed, this is me, you'll never be able to, because it is not something which can be felt as an experience, but it is there. And we can only, to get our mind to be able to appreciate even what I'm saying, we need constant study, we need constant thinking, we need meditation, we need karma yoga, we need all these things. But this is the path to knowledge. And one day you will have that conviction, and when you have that conviction, that's it. Then you can continue to do your meditations, you can do whatever you want. Like Mukta wants to go and see what what Vipassana is. Why not? Because it'll tell you something about yourself. It'll show you areas of your body and your experience and your sensations that you never knew existed. I mean, like I remember during Vipassana, they said you can scan your body from top to bottom. After about 4 days of 3-4 days of very like 12-hour, 10-hour meditation sessions, where your mind becomes very focused, your mind becomes very sensitized to small changes. I remember at the end of that, I could feel my heartbeat. It was like going like a drum. Thump, thump, like that. And then after that, they tell you, okay, now scan your body from top to bottom, and you can scan it. You can see sensation. Wherever your mind was going, you could feel sensations. You literally, I couldn't believe it. I was wondering whether I'm just kidding myself or is it actually true. But I don't know whether I was kidding myself. I don't know what is the root cause of it or whatever. But I could feel them. And I could feel the differences. But whatever it is, they have a methodology, and that methodology is supposed to give you some understanding, and it does. But I didn't understand how that will lead to self-knowledge. Now, according to them, as you scan your sensations in the body, your body, your bad experiences are stored all over your body. So you will have you'll go through some areas where you're scanning, you'll feel pain, you'll feel unpleasantness. So that is where you've scored some bad experience from the past. You just ignore it, keep going through it, keep scanning again and again without paying much attention to that bad experience. It's like be indifferent to it. Don't get drawn towards it, because that will make it worse. Don't get drawn towards pleasant sensations. Just keep scanning. So that gives you vairagya. It's a very physical way of getting vairagya, as opposed to the intellectual way that we are doing. Because they don't think that the intellectual path can get you there. They think we need something tangible. So this is how they take you through this process. And their point was, after these 10 days, this is just the start. You continue to do this. Slowly, you'll get more experiences. You'll see your body literally vanish, disappear. And that's the path for them to moksha, to nirvana. This is Buddhism. Right? So they're all different ways of looking at it. I think at some stage, what you should do is figure out, what works for you.
Can I ask you something very specific? You mentioned something that I've been thinking about. And, Carol also used to say that if you just think from your childhood to now, there is, like you said, there is this innocent I that has not changed. And so, and that, that I is Atma, but for me, that's always been a hiccup for me, because then I think, okay, so then what about before I was born? Well, then what happened? Where was that I then? Because then that sense of I always needs a mind. If you think of the I,
No, you're totally right. That is not Atma. Okay, so it's just all these are mechanisms, prakriyas. They point to a different. No prakriya will take you to Atma. Only knowledge takes you to Atma. Prakriya is just a way to help you think about this thing.
Okay, because so, I always thought
I actually want to. I'll answer that question, because today what I wanted to do, because we are going to go into 7th chapter. I want to talk about the Panchkosh methodology, because of what you said, some of the things you said last time. Like, what does this mean? Because it's a really, we can understand this me at various levels. And as we go deeper and deeper into Vedanta, we will have to go deeper and deeper into understanding what this me is.
Yeah.
Right? We all, at every stage, we will think the me is something, some feeling, something, some prakriya, something. And at every stage, we'll have to give it up and say, no, that is also not me. That is neti. So that this Panchkosh prakriya helps with that in a very nice way, to me at least, I think.
Yeah. So maybe I just misunderstood what Carol was saying, because I thought always in class she said that very real me right now is it.
Well, so Carol says it because she is following a methodology. So at that moment where you were, this is what you needed to take the next step. So that is, I think, how she says it. And also she is right, because everything is me.
Yeah, but that is different. Saying everything is me points me to a different way of thinking about it, right?
Yes, but you cannot, discrimination doesn't, this kind of discrimination, you can't jump from where you are to the end point.
I understand.
So you just have to go step by step by step. So these are the prakriyas which take you step by step by step.
Actually, that is very helpful, just to clarify that is just a prakriya, because that was a constant source of confusion for me.
Okay. Yeah, good. Sanjay, any other question on that?
No, okay, fine.
Okay. Should we just do this quickly? The punch.
Quickly. Whatever we can do.
Panchkosh. Yeah.
Fine.
So you're familiar with this. Everybody knows, right, what this Panchkosh methodology is. So Panchkosha is it says that a human being, the Atma, is covered by these kosh. And all the kosh is just like a case, a covering. It's like an onion has many skins. You can remove one skin, then you go to the deeper skin, you remove one skin. So each of these skins or each of these kosh coverings has the capacity to make you feel that I am that. It's an upadhi. So, for example, the outermost kosh is called Annamaya kosh, that which is made of anna. Anna is food. That is your body, right? And it has the capacity to make you feel, I am this body. So, actually, even before we start with the Annamaya kosh, there is a whole world around us. And we have people that we love, our children, our parents, our family, our friends, our possessions. Even those have the capacity in a way to make you feel like I am them. But when you start with spirituality, or we start with this exercise, it is relatively easy to say, okay, they are their own people, they are not me. So that one is easier. What is me? My me is this body onwards. That's very hard to say this body is not me. Because actually this body is, well, that's a different issue. So the process is, we first go through a step by step activity to say, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. That itself is a big thing. Then you go back and say, no, everything is me. that is the second step. Okay? And you have to understand, this is called Adhyaropa Apavada. This is the methodology of teaching Vedanta, developed by Shankaracharya and others before him. That methodology is, at every stage it will tell you you're this, then it will tell you you're this, you tell you you're this, and at every stage you'll have to say, the next stage, you'll say, no, actually that is not me. That next one is me. You have to, it's like steps. You have to cross a river puddle. You'll take a stone, big stone, you step on it, then take another stone, put it in front. You step on that, then you have to remove the piche wala stone and put it in front of you, right? So whatever you've learned, you have to negate. It's just the method of doing it. Okay, so now let's talk about this Panch Kosh. So the outermost kosh is called Annamaya kosh, and that corresponds to your sthula sharir. It corresponds to your physical body. And you can see how we all feel that we are our body. But what this methodology is saying is, Vedanta is saying is, you're not your body. Your body, actually, you think about it, your body is changing. Not only will your body perish when you die, it's changing even right now. Not a single cell of your body is the same that you were born with. Literally. They say every 7 years, everything in your body is changed. So there is something else which is holding this body together. The body is just the material. The material is coming from the food you eat, right? And the material is being used, wasted, you send it away as, like waste product. You get new material. So the material is cycling through all the time. How is it cycling? The food is coming in. The body is using it. The body cells are living and dying. The dying cells are being removed by your excretion system. Those are gone. New ones come in. So there is something which is holding this body together. But the body material is coming and going. So what it's trying to tell you is, what you are is that something. You're not the body. That something is prana. So that's the next kosha, pranamaya kosha. So now you're saying, oh, okay. I'm actually the prana. I'm the prana, which is the life force, which is making me hungry. So I get food, which is extracting, udana, adana, wo sare forces hote hain na, excretion ke forces, reproduction ke forces, breathing ke forces. That's the infrastructure, which is somehow managing to create this body. And the cells of the body are going in and out. So I'm actually the prana, not the body. And then it tells you, you're not even the prana. Even the prana is coming and going, right? Actually, you should see the prana and the mana and the pranamaya kosh, the manomaya kosh should be seen together, which is the third, and the vigyanmaya kosh. The three should be seen together. The pranamaya kosh, manomaya kosh, and the vigyanmaya kosh are all three together called the subtle body. Prana, subtle body, आपको याद है मैंने बताया था क्या होता है? Subtle body is your mind, the manas, and the pranas. So मनस में क्या होता है? इंद्रियां होती हैं, all your sense organs, the subtle sense organs, not the जो आंखें तुमको दिख रही हैं, that is part of the physical body. We're talking about the subtle sense organs, which are there in the mind, which receive all the information which is coming from this eyes, and then pass it on to the mind. So the subtle sense organs and the pranas and the 4 compartments of the mind, chitta, manas, buddhi, and ahamkar. Put together, this is the subtle body. So you can say, I'm not the pranas. And they tell you, because, pranas, pranas also are actually just energy. It's energy which comes and goes. When you die, they say the prana ud gaye, pran gaye. Similarly, the mental, the mind itself, we say that the subtle body is the one that's moving, and you could say that after dying, my subtle body, which is prana, man, and buddhi, vigyanmaya kosh, which is the buddhi part, all 3 of them go from one body to the next. So you can say they are living on, but they are not actually. They're living on only from one body to the next, but they are temporary. That's what Vedanta is trying to teach you. And the me, you can actually see how they're temporary, because you can see your thoughts, you can see your emotions. This is how you get from the meditation and all that. You can see them. The difference between the pranamaya kosh, which is the infrastructure which holds the body and everything together. The manomaya kosh is the thoughts and the vrittis which come and go. And the vigyanmaya kosh is the buddhi, it represents the buddhi. All 3 have to be given up. So for example, pranamaya kosh would be the 5 life forces. The manomaya kosh should be all your emotions, your feelings of ahamkar, your vrittis, your memories. The vigyanmaya kosh is actually, when you say, like when you're sitting down in meditation and you're thinking, all my thoughts are coming and going, right? The one who's thinking is the vigyanmaya kosh, is the buddhi. The buddhi is saying, oh yeah, now I can see all my thoughts. I can see the thoughts are coming, the thoughts are going. I can see I'm not the maker of the thoughts. I can see I'm whatever. The feeling of the doership or the knowership of my thoughts, even the knowership of my everything, comes from the Vigyanmaya Kosh. You're enjoying sitting in meditation. You're seeing things, you're experiencing, you're a silent witness. Who is that silent witness? The Vigyanmaya Kosh. Okay. So, and the reason why it's important to even say thinking is because you have to go step by step. When you're at the level of the Vigyanmaya Kosh saying, I am not my thoughts, then at least you made progress from Annamaya Kosh to Pranamaya Kosh to Manamaya Kosh to Vigyanmaya Kosh. You're making progress. But Vigyanmaya Kosh is not Atma. So then you say, okay, from Vigyanmaya Kosh, if I'm not even this person who's the seer, who's the knower, who's the observer, then what am I? And then you say, maybe the answer lies in deep sleep. When you're sleeping, right? This is the limit of your subtle body. All experiences happen at the level of the subtle body. Without the subtle body, there can be no experience. That's why they say for a jiva, you need subtle body. Right? That's a difference between a jeev and a non-jeev. A rock doesn't have a subtle body, so can't experience anything. But animals and human beings and plants have subtle bodies. They're living things they can experience. So now if you're not that, what are you? Like, let's say you go to the next level, which is the Anandamaya Kosh. That corresponds to your causal body. Okay? And that is the least understood body. And actually, it's an important body to understand. So Where was I? Yes, I was saying if you're not the experiencer and the knower and anything, what are you? The clue can come from deep sleep. You can say in deep sleep, I'm not experiencing anything. I'm not knowing anything. I just go to sleep and I get up. Yes, I have a feeling of having experienced a good sleep. I have a feeling that I went to sleep and I got up. I don't have a confusion after getting up. Oh, actually, I'm Mukta or Sanjay. I don't switch all those things. There is a continuity of my own self. All that is there, but there is no experience. So maybe that is me. And what Vedanta is saying is even that is not you. Because even in deep sleep, there is this subtle experience of pleasure or, all of that. That is the causal body. That's the place where all your karmas, your vasanas, all of them reside in the causal body. Why it's called the causal body is because your karmas and vasanas, what creates the sharir? Why is it that the sharir is there? It's created by our karmas. So the karmas that we do, the karam that we do, they tell us what the next experiences are going to be, the prarabdha karma. And if they tell us what our next experiences is going to be, our experience includes this body. They are the ones who create the next body and the subtle body to fit into that body. So that's why they're called Karana Sharir, the causal body, because they contain our karmas. You could say they contain ignorance, which is it's a very strange way of saying it because, ignorance is not a thing that can be contained. You can say, okay, I have karmas there. And karmas also are contained in an unmanifest form in the causal body. So causal body is where you go when you're unmanifest. Subtle body and physical body are the manifested states of the causal body. And I'm saying this to you because in chapter 7, this will come up. We talked about it earlier too, but I'm sure, as we go through this, we'll understand it better. Because at the level of the individual, the causal body is what I just described. This causal body, when looked at the level of Shrishti, of everything, is Ishwar. This is what we call Ishwar. The collective causal body is Ishwar, because Ishwar is the creator. Just like the causal body of us is the creator of our subtle body and physical body, the causal body of the world, which is Ishwar, is the creator of the world. It's a complete total parallel. The subtle body which is created, which experiences everything, is Hiranyagarbha. And the physical body, jo hamari hai, at the universe level, is called Virat. So there is a one-to-one correlation between the individual and the whole. The difference is that the causal body of the individual has ignorance in it. It doesn't know everything. That is why it creates this. So anyway, so what it says is then we are not even the causal body.
Quickly. Sorry.
I was just going to complete. We are not even the causal body. So then we are Atma. So what are we? We really can't know what we are. We can't, anything which says, I'm looking for me, I can experience me, is the working of our ahamkar, howsoever subtle. If we are comfortable with this, we can move forward with this. If we are not comfortable with this, that is okay. It just means that at this moment, the ahamkar really needs something to grasp. And next janam, you'll be born again, which will be very comfortable to you. Because you will be born again, you'll be fine. Either way, you're fine. Either way, everything is fine. But that's the process. Okay, sorry. Yeah, what were you asking, Kiki?
I was asking if Virat and Hiranyagarbha and Ishwar, are those, how to think of them? Are those concepts, like on a personal level, I can see, on a personal level, I can feel, and it's everyday ordinary experience. But on the universal level, those three, I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you think of them? How do you think of Virat and Hiranyagarbha and Ishwar?
It's the collective. I mean, it's just because it's helping us. We have to think about. We have to get answers to questions like how is the world created and all of that. So it's helping us get to those answers. That's all there is. You can't, we don't, other than that, it's going to be just concepts, whichever way I think about it. It's not as if the Ishwar is something which is experiencing the whole world while I'm experiencing just this one little thing. Because to experience that whole world, you need something which is different from the whole world, right? So experience the way that you can only think about is only happening at the individual level. That is the only level at which experience can happen. Because at the individual level, we've broken up this whole world into a me and a that, which is not me, as a result of ignorance. You can call it ignorance, but it's a great thing, because that ignorance has given us the ability to break everything into not me and me, so that now I can experience good and bad. For Ishwar, everything is me, so there is no experience. So this whole idea of experience is an individual construct. It's our ahamkara which is saying, oh, I need this experience. That is how I see it. But Ishwar is just me without the Ishwar is just me when I begin to understand my experience and say, okay, what is actually experiencing? At the end of the day, what is actually experiencing is Ishwar. Anyway,
So,
this is just to...
more specifically, I think I'll just ask one last thing, which is that means that the way, I was just trying to think like how to hold these things, because this was my other confusion, is do I hold them as tools to help what I think is me in my understanding? Like, how do I...
Yeah, hold them as tools to help you in your progress towards your understanding. Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. Because that's all you can do. Other than that, the only direct experience you can have is about yourself. Everything else is just aparoksha. I mean, it's paroksha gyan. Somebody's telling you there's an Ishwar, there's a heaven, there's a hell. Hold them as tools to help you with your understanding. Right? संजय तू तो गायब हो गया है.
नहीं मैं हूँ.
After getting us started on all this path. So I just wanted to share this with you, because next time we'll talk about chapter 7, and chapter 7 it's all about para and apara nature, prakriti of Ishwar. So the para prakriti of Ishwar is Atma, is Brahman. Apara prakriti of Ishwar is this causal body of Ishwar, which becomes the subtle body Hiranyagarbha and then becomes the Virat, the world. So he says, Ishwar says, like, you can call me the para prakriti, which is I am Brahman, or you can call me this apara prakriti. And the difference between the causal body and the Brahman is Maya. Maya is the capacity to have both unmanifest and manifest knowledge in the causal body, which is called karma or knowledge. It's the same thing. We call it karma, knowledge, sanskar, all of that. Either you can look at it from a limited way, which is individual, or you can look at it from the whole, which is Ishwar. And you project, the unique ability that we all have, human beings have, and Ishwar also has, is that we can take a thought and project it into a world. And when we do that, we call it a dream. We call it, imagination, because we only think visually, right? Even if it's very hard to think other than that. So if you're thinking about what's happening, you're actually visualizing the whole thing. That is a wonderful ability to take a concept and make it into a 3D visual representation. So we call it a dream. And when we say that is happening by the level from the Ishwar's conceptual ability, the Ishwar's way to project, we call it the world. And we say that's called the Ishwar Shrishti, the world. And we say that the world is real because it's not projected by me. But it's only real in as much as it is projected by Ishwar. So, that is how we say it. So anything projected by me is called paribhashika. Oh, pratibhashika. Shit. I forgot. I think it's called pratibhashika. And that projected by Ishwar is called vyavaharika. So that we'll go into this next time. Sanjay, sorry, you had a question or something else?
No, not right now.
Anybody else? Just switch off the recording. We can chat.